So what do you think is the greatest commodity that we have in this world? Some might say money. Some would say power. Some would say popularity. Personally, I'm going with trust. And holy shit, we can't trust hardly anything coming out of Hollywood lately. Everything from the Rings of Power debacle with Amazon and them owning IMDb, boosting their own ratings, and then taking Rotten Tomatoes and having them fucking remove a bunch of the lower user reviews while simultaneously keeping those 5-star reviews that are there basically just to counteract the 1-star reviews. They leave those there, but they take out the 1-star, which is a problem. And after getting caught, they took thousands of reviews and actually put them back up because they got caught in 24K. She-Hulk Attorney at Law, they got caught fucking trying to lie about their ratings as well. The Woman King, sitting at a 99%, there's no fucking way. Because at 99%, that movie is technically better than every other classic movie of all time. And I hear it's actually a pretty good movie, but not a 99%. You know that's just made up bullshit. Now, IMDb is a very popular rating site, but now they're owned by Amazon, so you can't trust them at all, especially with any project that's coming from Amazon, because it's going to be very skewed, and it can just pay and move around and just do whatever they want there. They'll get caught sometimes, especially with Rings of Power, because they keep toting it's like one of the best things ever, which it's not. It's one of the worst. Most people know this. They just keep trying to push that agenda because, you know, it's their product. Why wouldn't they try to do that? And to be quite honest, any review site, anything that's like a corporate entity and not of like an individual nature is something you should be suspicious of in general. I stopped trusting these big websites long ago. So it's funny that a lot of people are just catching them with a bunch of bullshit recently. My advice is to find people or channels or blogs or TikToks or whatever it may be that review shit and find somebody that you can relate to that has similar opinions where you watch a movie, then go watch their review, and then it's pretty much the same. You know, like if they give it a 7 out of 10, you can be like, oh yeah, I can see it being a 7 out of 10. If they're like, oh, I liked all this, but this one part was kind of shit, you're like, oh yeah, that one part was kind of shit. Those are the people you should probably be listening to with anything, with any form of media, whether it be music, fucking TV, movies, anything, apparel, it doesn't matter. I think at this point in time, you can't trust the bigger entities anymore. They've shown distrust on so many different levels. And that includes people that are behind these movies and TV shows and the people that are acting in them, because they are just as bad. So for me personally, for a lot of horror movies and shit like that, I like to turn to Cinemassacre because I really like James Rolfe, and a lot of the opinions that he has, and a lot of things that he has to say, him and his friends, about movies in general and TV, I tend to agree on. Like, very similar opinion points. Your opinion isn't going to match all the time with everybody, but you gotta find people that are similar to you, and those are the people you should be trusting. Because for a long time, especially with Rotten Tomatoes, you had your critic score and you have your audience score. Critic scores are bullshit. They've always been bullshit for at least for a long time. And audience scores were something that you could kind of trust because those were other people that were viewing these things with you, and they could give you a general idea of if a movie was, you know, at least tryable or not. But now, since they're getting caught all the time taking down reviews and only taking down low score reviews, no high score reviews, and trust me, there's pretty much the same. There are people that will just not like something that's out there, and they'll go and troll, and they'll go and put a 1-star just to knock the ratings down. That's 100% fact. That's just something that happens. Not with everybody, but it does happen. But at the same time, you have people that are going and giving stuff perfect ratings just to counteract those people because they don't like the same thing they do, or they're trying to virtue signal because it's something that they think should be good. And a lot of times on both spectrums, it's people that haven't even watched the movie or TV shows. And it's like, why only remove one side of the argument? So the critics are being persuaded with popularity and power and money to give good scores to everything. So you can't trust them at all. You can just go look around Tomatoes. But with audience scores, even though a lot of them are still low, Like if you go look at some, again, like a Rings of Power, where last time I checked, I think it was in like the 30 percentile or something. I believe it would be even lower if it wasn't being manipulated. Now on to the second part of this, racism and homophobia. Oh, I don't know what the PR people are thinking with this tactic lately, but if a movie is not doing good or is getting a lot of dislikes on YouTube or something, it's getting ratioed really hard, they'll take, and if there's anybody that's a person of color in the movie, they'll call you a racist. If there's anybody in that TV show that's homosexual or trans or whatever, they'll call you transphobic or homophobic. And for some reason, they think doing this is going to force you to watch what they're putting out there, which is an interesting tactic. Oh, you don't like the trailer we put out for this, whatever it is? Oh, you must be racist if you don't watch this. Is there anybody, literally, I want to know, is there anybody out there going, oh man, if I don't go watch this movie, if I don't go watch Bros, I'm homophobic because it has the gays in it? Like, who, is there anybody actually going and viewing these films and TV shows just because they tell you you're racist or homophobic just for not viewing it? It's hard for me to imagine somebody attacking you to try and force you to watch something just to go and get another view. I feel like it's more of them just trying to fucking pull that card out, because instead of admitting that their idea was bad or flawed or shit, or maybe people just don't like it, and that's fine too, you're just gonna pull out that old reliable, you're a fucking racist. And now they're even going and doing this in the trailers themselves. In the shows and the movies themselves, they're telling you to your face, you're a shit fan because you can't accept change.
If there is one thing the internet agrees on, it's that you should never change anything ever.
I'm in your house.
A serial killer calling from inside my house? Yes, that's a classic, and that's my point. Why change anything when the classics all still work, right?
What will help your cause is doing it organically, doing it in a way that is presentable to people. Or, this is a crazy idea, take your idea for like a little mystery game, like with the Scooby-Doo thing. Take that and make your own thing and not try to, leech off something that's been out for decades upon decades and enjoyed by generations of people unorganically. And in the trailer, basically saying, fuck you if you don't like this. What kind of PR is that? Who is the one that's out here telling these actors in movies and TV shows to attack the fans, especially like Star Wars and shit like that? They're really bad at that. It's a very interesting tactic that doesn't work. So I'm really curious on why they keep doing it. The only thing that I can ponder on this is it's easy to do. And it's, social media, you can get a bunch of people behind you if you just say like cute little buzzwords. Social media has really kicked this up a notch because it's definitely Twitter where you can get mobs of people to get behind you, especially if you have a lot of followers, if you're a big name actress or actor or whatever you are. And you can get these mobs to attack anybody that doesn't think the same way. And that's kind of scary. That's kind of like a Black Mirror scenario. And I don't see this going in a good direction. Hey, let's get a bunch of crazy people on my side to go and attack others because they don't like my project. If it's good, people will watch it. That's it. If you have something good, people will go and watch it. And a lot of female actresses like to do this too. They like to say that men are misogynistic and shit just because they won't watch their films that have like a leading female star, which makes no sense. Because there's a lot of the fucking movies, I've said this before in the past, there's a lot of movies where you have all female cast almost, or a huge female lead, and the movies do great. And they're funny and they're timeless. One thing I like to think of as a comparison almost, because they're kind of SNL movies in a way. There's a lot of people that came from the SNL universe, is Bridesmaids and the all-female Ghostbusters. The all-females Ghostbusters, it was just a bad movie. It was just a bad movie, badly written, horrible. And then it came out with Ghostbusters Afterlife with a female lead. Actually, you could argue that there's kind of two female leads in that movie with the mom and the daughter. But the daughter is the real showstopper in the movie. And that movie was a critical success because they did it right. And then you got Bridesmaids, which to me, as far as comedy movies go, it's probably in my top 50. I don't know where it stacks. I haven't like made a list or anything, but it's definitely up there. It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life, and it's all females. Who would have thunk? And it's both in the same vein as the Ghostbusters all females. Like, they're both like SNL alums going at it, and one is great and one is shit. Maybe because Bridesmaids didn't try to fucking hijack a current IP and use it to get a little bit of notoriety. So with that movie, it was great. The writing was amazing, the acting was amazing, the jokes hit. I'll never forget the lemonade in the car. I'll never forget everybody shitting after going to the bad restaurant. That's one of the fucking best moments I've ever seen in cinema. I fucking love it. And then you got Ghostbusters, where I can't even remember hardly anything that happened in the movie because it was so bad. The only thing I can remember is them trying to make Chris Hemsworth as dumb as possible. So they were trying to shit on man it. They didn't do good cameos with the other Ghostbusters. They didn't have good jokes. Like, it was just a bad movie. But according to some actresses in it, you're a misogynist and a racist because you didn't like it. It was just bad. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you think that helped sales at all? Do you think that helped DVD sales or streaming whatsoever, calling everybody racist that didn't like it? No, it did not. It doesn't work. It's a bad tactic, and it makes these people look desperate. Really, really desperate. But time goes on, right? We have this fad right now to where if you don't like what I'm in or you don't like what I'm making, you're either a racist, a misogynist, a transphobe, a homophobe, a chihuahua phobe. I don't know. The Chihuahua movies are actually alright. I like the first one. It was alright. So hopefully this fad ends eventually. I don't know when it will. Hopefully when Hollywood figures out that going woke on a lot of this stuff is detrimental not only to the projects that they're working on, but also to their bank accounts. Because a lot of these woke type films and TV shows, even some video games, but video games have been mainly untouched from this for the most part, even though there is examples. Hopefully it goes away because it's just not constructive in any way, shape, or form. It's not helping anybody, and you're just making people turn against people. It's like what the government does. And that's why this is the best time to ditch all the mainstream media and the mainstream fucking review sites. Ditch them all, in my opinion, because they're all full of shit. They're all lying to you. There's actually an article I read about it, about how this can all be easily manipulated, and I will actually put that down below. It's something that's a very interesting read, and if you want to know more about rating systems and how they're manipulated so easily, it's something you should probably check out.